Good morning, Morgan, and good morning to any of Morgan's friends. And today we're just going to touch the surface of dates and times. Okay? We're going to be using a lot of methods here that you're not going to understand the parameters that we're sending them, and that's okay. All you need to know is the high level stuff, that they exist and that this is what they do. Later on, as we progress, we will take a close look at the important ones, not all of them, but by looking at the important ones together, you will learn how to look these up for yourselves if you run across a method later on that you don't understand. All right? All right. With that, let's get this boring reading part done, and then we can get on to the code and talk about what we've learned today. All right. Let's hit the button.
Dates and times. The DateTime module supplies classes for manipulating dates and times in both simple and complex ways. While date and time arithmetic is supported, the focus of the implementation is on efficient member extraction for output formatting and manipulation. The module also supports objects that are time zone aware.
Okay, let's think about what she just said and see if we can look at this example and figure out what she's talking about. All right, so what are we doing here? Date dot today. Well, what we're doing is we're using the today function to go to the PC and find out what the current date is. And, and so now we're creating a date object, not a string, not an integer, but a date object. All right. And then we take the current date, but by the way, it also gives you the current time too, and put it into this date time object called now. Then we're going to print now and see what it says. Then we're going to take the date time object and we're going to use the something time, right, to do some editing on that object and create a new date time object, an edited one, where we're going to print that and see what that looks like. Okay? And then we're going to do some math, where we actually create a date time object ourselves here, birthday, and we're putting this date into it. So this is the format that goes into the date method. If you want to look it up, fine, but this one's kind of self-evident what it does. Then we take the current date and subtract it from the birth date and put it into the age object, and it's going to come out. I don't think it's going to come out pretty. I think it's going to come out in like the number of days. So, from there, there's a lot more you can do to get it to the exactly how old he is, like divided by 365.25 leap year. Anyway, with that said, let's go to the code. Oh, by the way, so that's what I got of that, and I don't really. Anyway, that's what it said. I'm going to stop there. Let's go. Here is the code. As you can see, I've modified it a little bit to make things a little easier for us to read when we look at the output by putting in these displays, these print statements, so that we can actually see what the values are in these different objects that we're looking at, that we're dealing with, so that I think we can better understand what's going on here. Okay, so you can send me an email if you need this code, or you can just look at the screen now and copy it down yourself. Okay, and with that, let's hit the button and let's see what happens. Chugga, 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 boom. But of course, you can't see the output right now, so we're going to go and head over there right now. All right. Well, here we are in the output, and here we requested the current date from the from the system, from your machine, and we place that information in a date time object that we created. We then printed out the value in that date time object, and that this is the format it came out with, year, month, day. Then we took that same date time object and we used a different method to format the output. And here we got this wonderful output where we know, oh look, it's Wednesday and it's the 11th day of October. Isn't that cool? All right, and then what do? We take and we create another date time object, but we put the date in it. And we call that birthday. It's a made-up date that we came up with. We then take the current date object and we subtract the birthday object from it. And the output from that is the number of days. Okay. Now there are other methods that you can run that output through that could, to jazz up the output, but they didn't have it in the example, and I was too lazy to go out and create one. Sorry. Anyway, with that, the video's over, and we'll see you in the next one. Until then, behave yourselves.